May I also make a humble request to all of you to please have your mobile phones on the silent mode. Thank you.
Okay. 6 dB का दिया मैंने हाँ 9 dB चल रहा 9 dB
And wish you all a great evening. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed a great pleasure to be among all of you, the intellectuals, people who are in fact shaping the Indian higher education space. I thank you all on behalf of FICCI, the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, for joining us in this rewarding evening. And it's been a long day for all of you, a lot of discussions and deliberations. So time now, ladies and gentlemen, is to sit back, relax, enjoy this evening, and alongside appreciate with all of us excellence as we present you the 2015 Higher Education Excellence Awards. And talking about excellence, ladies and gentlemen, excellence, yes, definitely it cannot be measured, it can't be quantified, but it can be felt, it can be experienced, and it can be impactful. And that's the kind of higher education system which we are wanting to build for India. In fact, it reminds me of the words of Rabindranath Tagore, the immortal words of Rabindranath Tagore, when he mentioned, where the mind is without fear, where the knowledge is free, where the mind is led into ever-widening thoughts and actions, where the tireless striving stretch the arms towards perfection. Let in that kind of environment, that kind of India, my countrymen awake. And these words, ladies and gentlemen, stand all the more very relevant today, especially when India is going to be the youngest country in the world and one of the most populated countries of the world. And that is where you have your skills, education, and knowledge can be one of the most important tools towards sculpting and shaping India for the 21st century and making it, in fact, one of the global talent pool for the world. And if you see these awards in the conference which we had in the morning, it comes at a very opportune time. We have the Sustainable Development Goals, which are the guidelines laid in front of us, and they put education first towards unlocking the progress of any country. We also have the 2030 FICCI's Higher Education Vision, which extends the aim of transforming India into a 21st century knowledge and skills hub. And then we have the recently concluded, the very successful India-Africa Summit, which in fact laid a lot of importance and thrust on collaborations and partnerships, which is the need of the hour today as we go forward. And it also extended a lot of confidence in the Indian higher education system when the president of Somalia very proudly had mentioned that he is the alumni of one of the Indian universities. So probably that's the kind of trust and confidence needs to be built of the Indian higher education system in the region going forward. And today in this August gathering, we have so many people who have been working towards it, who have a large body of work behind them, and they are contributing a lot towards it. So this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is about bringing such people to the forefront, rewarding, recognizing, appreciating such individuals, such institutions who are not only working towards making the Indian education system qualitative, but also very relevant to address the socio-economic and environmental needs of the 21st century India. And FICCI has been extending this platform. So first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite here the Secretary General of FICCI here, if I may request Dr. Didar Singh to please step forward here. Ladies and gentlemen, this platform, as I said, under the leadership and guidance of Dr. Didar Singh. And ladies and gentlemen, joining us in this evening to present the awards, we have two very distinguished personalities who have a large body of work, who have experience and expertise, and they are in a position to lead this transformation which we are talking about. We are going to be, though shortly, going to be joined by our chief guest, but we are delighted and honored to have the presence of Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe, the chairman of All India Council for Technical Education. Thank you so very much, sir, and may I request you to please step forward, and we would like to present you the green certificate. This is the commitment of FICCI towards a more sustainable and a green growth of this country. And we are also going to be shortly joined, as I said, by our chief guest, Mr. Vivek Debroy is going to be joining us, member Niti Aayog. But first and foremost, may I request Dr. Dida Singh for his welcome remarks.
First of all, a very big thank you to each one of you. It's a late evening, and it's a kind of a dense evening because we've been environmentally attacked by crops burning all around Delhi. So in fact, I'm just coming from the Ministry of Environment. That's why I'm late, where we were talking about industry's role or government's role in this kind of thing. FICCI works in a large number of areas that many of you are aware of, some 76 at the last count. But education is one place where we started, of course, many years ago, but education is one place where we have a confluence of government, of industry, of academia, of the youth of India, and of course the entire concept of being in the social space, about intellect, about everything which is the future of places and countries like India. So we are very proud in FICCI to have really led the whole higher education area for now. This is our 11th summit, and we've been doing this work, and we are very proud to have an extremely strong committee which Mohandas Pai ji leads for us, and we've done some excellent work in giving a vision for education. But while we give this vision for education, and all of you in the private sector help us to actually carry that vision forward, we decided last year that we should also recognize from industry itself some of the excellence that happens in the field. It is for this reason that we started, for the higher education summit which happens every year, we started this concept of the excellence awards in higher education, because I think it's time that sometimes, besides government recognition and other recognition, it's important that industry should also recognize its own, and that's what we are doing in today's function and today's award. And we are very happy to have with us very many people who are in this field, people who have supported this effort over the years. And as was just mentioned to you, we will also have Vivek Debroy ji, who will join us very, very soon to also honor the several recipients of this award. But for me, it's extremely important that all of you are here this evening, and a very big thank you from FICCI, from myself personally, and a very warm welcome to all of you for this excellent evening that we've got together. And I think it's going to be a series of awards, and then probably we will also have here some words of wisdom that we are all here to hear from some of our leading chief guests and others who will share their views to us this evening. So may I just request you to carry on with the rest of the function. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, we are now delighted to have the presence of Joint Secretary, Ministry of Skills and Entrepreneurship joining us, Mr. Pavan Agarwal. Thank you so very much, sir, for your presence. Now, some of you who were seated before we started, you saw on the screens almost every jury member aired that selecting the winners today has been extremely a difficult task, because there has been a very strict evaluation process which was in fact made for selecting the winners, and on basis of various criteria and parameters, today's winners have been selected. So to introduce you to this evaluation process, May I now request Mr. Nikhil Rajpal, Partner Strategy Practice and Education Sector Leader, Ernst & Young, who are the evaluation partners for these awards, may I request him for his presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, Nikhil is not present with us, so we have Suchindra Kumar, the director, who's going to be making the presentation.
Distinguished delegates, members of the jury, and ladies and gentlemen, a very warm and a very good evening to all of you. Ernst & Young, we are the knowledge partners for this event, and we also assisted FICCI in identifying the nominations for these awards and also finalizing, helping them through the entire process. The entire idea of these awards is they need to be robust in their evaluation, they need to be fair, and they need to be representative of the industry. So the idea was to honor the people who made a difference to the sector, either in the last year, looking for certain innovations that have been changing the landscape of this particular industry, the higher education industry, and also honor the people who've spent a lifetime or on a long-term basis to shape this industry. Now, EY, in association with FICCI, we came up with Vision 2030, the FICCI vision for what higher education in India should be around 2030. We talked about the 7 levers of the higher education architecture across curriculum, pedagogy, faculty, research, infrastructure, partnerships, funding, and governance. And in essence, the idea was to find out people, universities, and institutes who have demonstrated these levers. They've used it in an innovative manner to make a difference to the way education is delivered today. The award categories were, there were leaders of today, people who've done something in the recent past across any of these dimensions: faculty, use of technology, a better model for internationalization of students, employability, governance, the overall university framework, which is less than 10 years, 10 to 30 years, and older universities beyond 30 years, and visionary ideas. We got 87 nominations for these. Industry had to nominate people, and universities, we got 87 nominations for them. It went through a 3-stage process where a due diligence was performed on each of the nominations, whether they're meeting the entire set of guidelines, rules, regulations or not. They were asked to provide case studies of the work that was done by them. There was a screening jury which evaluated each of these cases, each of these nominations across categories, and they arrived at a short list of finalists. The shortlist was then invited for presentations to the grand jury, which was made up of eminent people from the higher education industry. The grand jury went through the presentations, the case studies were discussed in details, and then there were one-on-one question-answer session with the jury members. That is how we arrived at the finalist, the final winner for each of these awards. The jury felt, in light of the nominations that were received, there weren't enough nominations or not a lot of good work which would be a trailblazer for this entire exercise, so the award in governance was dropped for the current year. The other award category was a special award. This is a lifetime achievement award for people who've spent and done a long list of work, personality of the year, and contribution from the industry. For this, the nominations were provided by EY and the jury based on their research, based on their knowledge. The proposed names were researched upon. A complete case study was created. It was discussed by the jury. And then finally, the jury decided upon the winner. We got 22 nominations here across the 3 categories. And again, because of the kind of nominations, the contribution of the industry award category was dropped. So there were 2 awards provided for the special award category. So it was a robust process that we followed throughout end to end. Jury members, we ensured that the jury members who had any relationship with any of the nominees were kept away from this entire process to ensure impartiality here. The idea was these awards, the second year of these awards remains something to cherish for all the winners, and it provides a row of excellence for people to look forward to in the next year. Thank you, and congratulations to all the winners.
Thank you so much for introducing us to the process. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to draw your attention. We are now being joined by Mr. Vivek Devroy, our Honorable Chief Guest, member Niti Aayog. Thank you so very much, sir, for joining us. And may I request Dr. Didar Singh to kindly present the Green Certificate. May I request sir to please step forward and please accept this Green Certificate. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vivek Devroy, economist, professor at the Center for Policy Research and International Management Institute, and member Niti Aayog. Now, before we actually move on with the awards, we now invite the visionary views and the ideas of our guest speakers. May I first request our guest of honor, Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe, and especially when we are talking about, and we have Sashakt Bharat, Saksham Bharat, Safal Bharat. We are talking about the importance of skills. He's the chairman of All India Council for Technical Education. In his illustrious career of 29 years, he has held several important academic, research, and administrative positions. Also presently working as the chairman and expert member on various national level committees. Some of them, ladies and gentlemen, the Basic Scientific Research Empowered Committee of UGC and the Ministry of Human Resource Development Committee for determination of land requirement for the Central Higher Education Institutes. As an academician and researcher, he has taken up several new initiatives, and it's a great pleasure, sir, ladies and gentlemen, as I invite her. One thing more I would like to, in fact, mention about him. He's also been conferred with the Maha Entrepreneur Award 2011 by Praj Industries. So, thank you, sir, for your presence, and we look forward to your views.
Respected chief guest of today's program, Dr. Vivek Devroy, Dr. Didar Singh, vice chancellors, principals, faculty members, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a great honor for me to be here on this occasion of 11th FICCI Summit, and it's a second award function which is being held today. FICCI is an industry body, and all educational institutions, we talk about industry-institute interaction, and this has been talked about for more than 25 years. Nevertheless, seminars on this topic keep on going on, and industry is also talking about unemployability of the graduates. There is one of the phenomenon, whether it is FICCI, NASSCOM, many agencies keep talking about employability of our graduates, which is very, very poor. On one hand, we have been very happy and we are endowed with large population which is young, and therefore on one side we say that there is a possibility of demographic dividend, and if quality is not there, there is going to be likely to be disaster. And that's why when employability is an important issue for all of us, and also development of skills and entrepreneurship, it is very apt that an industry body recognizes institutions of excellence, and that's a very important key element of today's function. Educational institutions by themselves, amongst themselves, getting recognition is fine, but when the industry body recognizes, it has a great value. On one side, when there are not enough good institutions, and those who are well performing, if they are celebrating today this particular function, I do not know who are the winners, but on behalf of AICTE as well as the entire audience, I congratulate all those who are going to win these awards. But winning awards is not the only important thing. That is a starting point in my opinion. They should not be complacent. Whatever good work they are doing, they have to continue to do. And not alone that, in my perception, they should start becoming a hub and have about 10 spokes in and around them and start improving the quality of education in another 10 institutions in the neighborhood. And that's the only way India can go ahead and have not only skill development, quality of education also can improve. At AICTE, there has been a massive growth of institutions in the last couple of decades. In fact, the numbers are mind-boggling. At the time of independence, the number of institutions that existed compared to today, it's about 65 plus years, but the number of institutions have grown by 6,500 times. And I think that's a real mind-boggling figure. And that had brought in access, equity. However, when it comes to quality, we have been, at loggerheads. And I think AICTE as a regulatory body has a big challenge. There has been a recent report from Cow Committee report which has come in, which has talked about giving autonomy to all the institutions in the country. Certainly, it's an excellent step, because we were just discussing over a cup of, glass of whatever wine earlier outside, that British system of affiliation continues only in 3 countries in the world. All of them have left that. And I think we have also to leave this baggage as early as possible. But the number of such institutions being so large, I think we cannot do it overnight. And that's why maybe some mechanism has to be developed by which about 10% in this year, another 10% next year. Maybe in about 10 years' time, all the institutions in the country have to be autonomous. They should stand on their own legs. They should have their own curricula, and they try to achieve excellence like what other 10% institutions are doing today. Coming back to the philosophy of skill development, in our country, another tragedy is that we do not value dignity of labor. And that's why a person who does not have a degree is not valued, both in the marriage market as well as in other places. And that's why everyone aspires to be a degree holder. And therefore, National Skill Qualification Framework, which has been established through about passing of 7 modules, one can go to the level of a degree. And he will also be called a graduate. Probably honorability will come to his profession where the skills are involved. I think that is another challenge which we need to address. We have Niti Aayog to do some help for this particular purpose, and funding is to be provided to the polytechnics and engineering colleges to make use of their infrastructure, and thereby we'll be able to do well in this gamut as well. We are going digital as far as India is concerned. It has been comparatively very far ahead in terms of digital reach in terms of villages as well as in the cities. However, the education is not going through in the same way as it should have been, except for using mobiles for WhatsApp and Facebook. We are still not using the technology for our educational purposes, and that is another challenge which we will have to address. I think professors have a habit of going on lecturing for an hour. I know that time is limited, and I don't want to be between you and the dinner, and therefore, once again, congratulating all the winners who are going to come on the stage later, and thank you for inviting me over here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your views and some of the initiatives which your institute has been taking, and also mentioning some of the challenges which need to be addressed, especially the use of embracing technology for more taking it to the people, education to the people. That is where one of the bottlenecks or challenge which we have. And as you mentioned, the need is not only to transform the education system, but also some of the policies which have been there. So I think that leads me to our next guest speaker, Joint Secretary. May I request Mr. Pavan Agarwal, as we're talking about a lot of policy changes also, probably, sir, you can throw some light on the policy perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, inviting Mr. Pavan Agarwal, Joint Secretary, Skills and Entrepreneurship.
Honorable Member Niti Aayog, Professor Debroy, Chairman AICT, Professor Hasbuddhe, Mr. Didar Singh, Secretary General FICCI, Shobha Mishra, Senior Director FICCI, friends, colleagues. It is always a pleasure to be in this forum, which I have been associated for more than a decade now, and I have seen it grow over the years. Last year we had the first award ceremony. Now it shifted to the evening session, maybe bigger and better. And I believe the rigor which has gone into, putting together this awards, event is immense. I think it will be a benchmark for awards in higher education in the country in years to come. And I congratulate FICCI for this initiative and also thank the jury members for putting together a very comprehensive system of giving these awards, which will over a period of time give credibility to these awards, which are much needed in the country. Coming immediately after Chairman AICT and in my current role in skill development and entrepreneurship, I think we are here to bridge the gap, bridge the gap between formal education, which has been somewhat disconnected from society and economy, to, real purpose of education in some sense, which leads to skill formation and entrepreneurship, and thereby connecting education to, social and economic well-being. I think we together will have to work in this direction. As the Chairman AICT mentioned to you, the dramatic expansion that has taken place in higher education, particularly engineering education, is somewhat scary, but also an opportunity, because a lot of private investment has gone into building infrastructure for professional education, which can now be leveraged for skill-based education. And I think that is where the opportunity lies, and I'm sure that we'll all have to put our heads together how to use that opportunity meaningfully as we move forward. Once again, congratulations to the winners of today's awards, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And now may I take the pleasure and honor of requesting Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Vivek Debroy, economist, professor at the Center for Policy Research and International Management Institute, member Niti Aayog. Ladies and gentlemen, he's also worked as the director for a project launch, that's Legal Adjustments and Reforms for Globalizing the Economy, set up by the Finance Ministry and UNDP for examining the legal reforms in the country. He's been the member also of the National Manufacturing Competitive Council. He's authored several books, papers, and popular articles. And he earlier has also worked as a consultant to the Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, Government of India. So may I now request you, sir, for your views and your insights to this August gathering.
Thank you and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think I've mentioned this once in the past. IMI, Center for Policy Research, those belong to the past, so please do not mention them in the present. I dare not contradict the chairman of AICT in public. And he said that one should not stand between you and dinner. So therefore, I'm going to be brief. In any case, you've heard the chairman AICT speak, though briefly. And you've heard someone who's been described as a joint secretary in charge of skill development, which is a rather inappropriate description for Pawan Agarwal, who's one of the most knowledgeable people on higher education in India. So both of these gentlemen have spoken. And here am I supposed to say something when I have not even been lubricated, unlike the chairman AICTE, with some wine. Instead, I've got a thicket of 5 trees. There are all kinds of things. Someone described FICCI as an industry body. I don't think it is, because unless one of the FICCI lawyers will correct me if I'm wrong, under the Factories Act, if I recall right, there was a case and FICCI was judged to be indulging in manufacture, which presumably did not refer to manufacturing of awards in higher education. Joking and flippancy apart, I think it's an excellent idea. Not only for FICCI to get into areas outside conventional industry body action, but also in the area of higher education. I also would like to congratulate the winners, but there are 3 or 4 very quick points I would like to make, almost in bulleted fashion, because like I said, I take the chairman AICT very seriously. The first point is, yes, it's a very good idea to award the winners of the Excellence Awards. But let's recognize, one, that these rewards are being given in a very distorted kind of environment. And I will explain in a minute what I mean by that. 2, the only test of excellence comes through competition. And one of the problems with higher education, however we define it today, is that it is characterized by silos, little bits being dealt with by AICT, little bits being dealt with by UGC, bits being dealt with by the Bar Council, little bits by the Medical Council, bits by the Nursing Council, and many others that I can't even remember. Higher education does not function in silos. 2, not only are there silos, there is licensing and barriers on entry. If there are barriers on entry, you cannot have competition. If you are going to have competition, you need to remove barriers to entry, and also you need to remove barriers to exit. This doesn't mean that you need regulation. You need a regulator. The debate is not about the desirability of the regulator. The debate should assume that you need a unified regulator, and the debate should be about the content of that regulation being interpreted as distinct from licensing and control. Too often, even now, policy is such that it confuses regulation with licensing and control. To my mind, the biggest component of regulation ought to be disclosure. And I'd like to see a situation where every institution that is going to win an award today publicly discloses information about where it gets its money, what it spends that money on, what are the qualifications of the faculty, what are their publication credentials, what is the track record on placement, so on and so forth. That is what I mean by disclosure. I personally, not as Niti Aayog, so please don't misquote me if you say this is Niti Aayog's view. Personally, I would like to see institutions of higher education or education otherwise become completely profit-making. What's wrong with that? I would like to see them raise money on the capital market. What's wrong with that? I would like to see them listed on stock exchanges. What's wrong with that? as long as you have that disclosure. There will inevitably be the question of access. Now, access is best addressed, in my personal view, by ensuring scholarships for deprived students. To some extent, most educational institutions sometimes do a little bit of cross-subsidizing internally. When they don't, then the role of the government is primarily to fund scholarships, to fund even hostel accommodation, to ensure that there is no inequity of access. I think that's the only way we will ensure that education delivers what the market wants. And I think that's the only way we will ensure that education actually leads to skills. This morning I learnt that 15% of security guards in India are graduates now. I had no idea that the data existed. Evidently it does. So here are graduates and they are functioning as security guards. I will not get into complicated issues of correlation between education and skills. It's a very complicated thing, but education is not the same as skills. So what is the bottom line? The bottom line is, please FICCI, continue to have these awards, but I'd love to see the outcomes of these awards when everything is thrown open to competition. And I'd like to see then whether there is shakeout compared to whatever we will discover. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your views, the importance of transparency for the higher education systems, and yes, a distinction between licensing and talking about regulations. So, thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, in this August gathering, we also have two of our esteemed jury members, Mr. Ranjan Kaul present with us, and we also have Mr. Furkan Kamar. May I request both of them to please step forward. Alongside, I would like to request once again Mr. Vivek Debroy, Mr. Sahasrabudhe, requesting our Joint Secretary, Mr. Pavan Agarwal, and Secretary General Shobha. May I request you all, we'll have a group photograph first with our jury members, and in fact thanking them also for taking the session of the winners who are going to be presenting the awards. And also the chair coaches of the chairs of the Higher Education Committee. May I also request them to please. Chairs and coaches of the Higher Education Committee, may I also request them to step forward. Before the awards, let's have them all in one photograph. And I think we can appreciate them by putting our hands together. Thank you, and may I request Mr. Vivek Debroy, may I request Mr. Sahasrabudhe, and may I request Dr. Didar Singh to kindly do the honors of presenting these awards. So, ladies and gentlemen, various categories here. The very first category, Excellence in Employability. Now, these are awards presented to institutes which have worked towards making education industry more relevant and more practical to ensure a highly employable talent pool. Let's first have a look at the nominees. nominees are the College of Engineering, Pune, Manipal University and R.C. Monge Institute of Management Studies, and the winner, ladies and gentlemen, is Manipal University.
The number of students getting placed percentage-wise, it comes to close to about
a certificate and a trophy being presented to the awardee. Congratulations to them, and moving on to the next category. This is a category of social excellence being awarded to an institute recognizing exemplary corporate social responsibility initiatives by the institute in education and training ecosystem. And now a look at the nominees on your screens. The nominees are Birla Institute of Management Technology, Greater Noida, National Institute of Technology, Trichy, and R.C. Monge Institute of Management Studies. And the winner, ladies and gentlemen, is National Institute of Technology, Trichy.
Initiatives that are going to be part of the Rashtriya Avishkar Abhiyan and US Bharat Abhiyan. We also tap the corporate CSR funding to channelize into corporate social responsibility activities. It's just a glimpse of the left top corner is our students spending time with old age homes. The felicitation to the bus crew, the wish tree where the wishes of the children are collected, and anyone who wishes to fulfill the wish would pluck a leaf and then fulfill.
Haven't you thought of linking it with some of our national missions, like Swachh Bharat?
Yes, sir. Swachh Bharat, in fact,
So many congratulations to them. And ladies and gentlemen, in this very category, we also have a special jury recognition where the jury felt that this institute definitely deserves a mention and also the presentation of a certificate of appreciation. And ladies and gentlemen, the 2015 special recognition for social responsibility category goes to R.C. Monge Institute of Management Studies. This is the special jury recognition, a certificate of appreciation being presented to them. The next category is excellence in enabling research environment. These are institutes that have created adequate means to provide research funding and practical application of research. The nominees are Institute of Chemical Technology, Manipal University, and Thapar University. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner is Institute of Chemical Technology.
We also do professional activity, for example, clearing the Rankala Lake at Kolhapur by the ICT technology, and we have developed several technologies in the industry that many of them are university as well as went to pilot plant and plant. Now, we can see that we have examples of how we can sustain the activity because through our industrial partner.
The chairman AICTE had mentioned about the importance of technology. Here we recognize the excellence in technology for education delivery. These are institutes that have leveraged on technology for enabling and enhancing the teaching and the learning experience. The nominees are Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University, Nirma University and Sona College. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner is Nirma University.
We have a cell which we call Academic Development and Research Cell at university level, and they meet every week to work on innovative practices related to ICT-based development. We have formalized our IT policy for the entire university, and we have also worked to develop our IT regulations for various policies that are mentioned within the IT policy. We are also conceptualizing to develop a center of ICT at university level to have a cohesive approach to development of various ICT facilities and govern it with the rules and regulations that are set by them.
Many congratulations to them. And the next category is Excellence in Faculty. These are institutes which have created a conducive environment and provided incentives to attract and retain high-quality faculty. The nominees are Charutar University of Science and Technology, Institute of Chemical Technology, and Thapar University. And the winner is Institute of Chemical Technology.
We have visited several ministers from our institute, and we conduct several national and international workshops.
The second time they are getting the award this evening.
All of them are supported by the government or industrial projects. I think with current model of having close.
The next category, this is internationalization of education. These are institutes which have aligned different aspects of education, the curriculum, faculty, etc., to international standards, and they have set new benchmarks. The nominees in this category are
The Cultural Center was set up in
the Indian Institute of Technology, Gandhinagar, OP Jindal Global University, and Symbiosis International University. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner is Symbiosis University.
the Symbiosis International Cultural Center was set up in 1971 as a safe community space for foreign students, primarily from Africa, to come together in the evenings, to spend time together, to get to know about each other's cultures, to learn English, to learn a smattering of Marathi. We have students from across 85 countries.
Ladies and gentlemen, as was mentioned, the awards are just a beginning. In fact, they motivate people to continue with the good work which they are doing. So I think all of them deserve a huge round of applause. That's the motivation and more inspiration which is going to be coming to them. And before we move on to the next category, I would like to request Mr. Pavan Agarwal also to please join us and do the honors of presenting the next category of awards. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the University of the Year. Under this, we are going to be presenting first the universities which have been in existence for less than 10 years. Universities which have demonstrated overall excellence. They have contributed significantly in the past academic years towards, again, various for faculty employed, for student training, towards the research, studies, improved technology for education, delivery, employability, governance, infrastructure, etc. they have worked on. And further, we would also like to mention that the jury decided that the emerging institutes are also going to be included in this category, the category of University of the Year in existence for less than 10 years. And now the look at the nominees on the screen. Indian Institute of Technology, Gandhinagar, OP Jindal Global University, APJ Satya University, Kerala University of Fisheries and Ocean Studies, and Shiv Nadar University. And the winner, ladies and gentlemen, in this category is Indian Institute of Technology, Gandhinagar.
We recruit the best faculty in whatever program that they might be. We are not looking for them if they are exceptionally talented, and it has allowed us to develop through that process a very diverse faculty. You know, we have someone teaching Urdu poetry, we have someone teaching options.
And this category, ladies and gentlemen, where we had many nominees, as I mentioned, also the emerging institutes included. Here we have the special jury recognition who's going to be presented the certificate of appreciation. And that university is Shiv Nadar University. The special jury recognition. And now we have the University of the Year in existence for from 10 to almost now 30 years, judged on the same parameters. And now we have the look at the nominees on your screen. Dhirubhai Ambani Institute of Information and Communication Technology, Manipal University, Manipal, and LNM IIT, Jaipur. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner, Manipal University, Manipal.
Manipal is a school which was started by Dr. Dimepal in 1953, the first school of the medical school. And it was followed by engineering, dental, pharmacy, and several other schools. In 1993, we became a lead institute. Today we have about 16 streets spread across 5 campuses in Manipal, Bangalore, Dubai, and Malaysia. We have about 25.
Many congratulations to them. We've had universities less than 10 years, 10 to 30, and now we have universities which have been in existence for more than 30 years now. The nominees on your screen. Banasthali Vidyapeeth, Malviya National Institute of Technology, Jaipur, and Thapar University. And the winner in this category is Banasthali Vidyapeeth.
Our founder was a freedom fighter, and he took an inspiration from Gandhiji to start a school for girls, and then later on it has blossomed into world's largest residential university.
So the thought and the idea inspired by Gandhiji is stated in the video.
And a unique model that is more prompted by the good governance. We have a lot of women in our board because we are empowering women. So almost 40% of our members.
And the next category, ladies and gentlemen, is visionary idea. In this, we identify and recognize 2 to 3 ideas which should support the philosophy to build the 21st century model for higher education that is of high quality, yet equitable, affordable, and be exemplary of a higher education system that is not just the best in the world, but best for the world. The nominees are Ashoka University, BITS Pilani Hyderabad campus. And the winner is Ashoka University.
Any vision is basically in its impact. Looking at where our alumni have gone, what they have done, how they have placed, what they are studying. we'd like to think that we've taken the steps in the right direction and now the results are coming home to us. 85 organizations recruited from Ashoka this year. Those who did participate in the placement program.
Ashoka University being recognized in the category of Visionary Idea.
Definitely, sir. Usually what happens is when we get questioned, somehow people take the humanities aspect of our offerings more for granted, and they start.
Many congratulations to them, and we move on to the next category. This category, ladies and gentlemen, is excellence in governance. But unfortunately, the jury felt that none of the applications which we received actually qualified for this category. So no awardees in this category this time, but better luck next time. Probably we'll be having more awardees here. So we move on to the next category. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Lifetime Achievement Award. This award, or this category, recognizes an individual who throughout his life has been working towards the growth and the involvement of the education sector, recognizing a person, a personality who has changed the course of the Indian education system with his vision and courage. Ladies and gentlemen, 2015 Lifetime Achievement Awardee is Dr. M.S. Valyathan. I think he deserves a huge round of applause, a thunderous round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. M.S. Valyathan. The first Vice Chancellor of the Manipal University, Professor of Cardiac Surgery and Director during his stay at the Sri Chitra Institute. Professor Valyathan set up the Sri Chitra Tribunal Institute of Medical Sciences and Technology in Thiruvananthapuram, which became an institution of national importance. Its tertiary hospital and laboratories for biomedical engineering were instrumental in promoting the joint culture of medicine and technology. And as the first Vice Chancellor of Manipal University, ladies and gentlemen, he contributed to its rapid growth, including the setting up also of the new Life Sciences Center. He was also INSA's Vice President and then its President. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Personality of the Year Award, recognizing a personality, an individual who has set the ball rolling in the last 1 year towards enhancing the higher education sector. Ladies and gentlemen, the Personality of the Year, Professor Brahmat Raj Sinha. Ladies and gentlemen, a person who's changing the course of the Indian higher education system with his vision, with his courage, with his new ideas.
Let's start a test or a pilot program.
His tryst with setting up higher education institutions started with creating what is now the 18,000 student strong Multimedia University in Malaysia, a McKinsey project to build the multimedia super corridor for the Prime Minister of Malaysia nearly 20 years ago. He then went on to lead the project team to build the Indian School of Business Fest as the project CEO and then as the ISB's founding dean, and now serves as an active member of the executive board.
Ashoka University has adopted that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, these were the personalities and the institutions who are making a difference to the Indian education sector. As I thank our guest speakers and our guests for doing the honors, I would like to, in fact, request all the awardees to please step forward. Let's have a group photograph having you all in one frame with your trophies, with your certificates. May I also request Mr. Vivek Debroy. May I request Mr. Sahasrabuddhe. May I request Mr. Pavan Agarwal. Dr. Didar Singh. May I request the chair and the coaches of the committee, the jury members.
Sir, excuse me. Sir, बैठिए. Excuse me.
May I request the chairs, the coaches of the FICCI committee, may I request our jury members who are present with us also to please join us. And I believe all the awardees are here.
वैसा बैठे.
Excuse me.
And ladies and gentlemen, before we all join us for dinner, I think one of the most befitting concluding remarks of this very rewarding evening, I would like to request the chairman of the FICCI committee, Mr. Mohan Das Pai, for his concluding remarks of this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is a very happy day for the FICCI Higher Education Committee and FICCI. It's a very happy and proud day because we are gathered here to recognize the people who are building our country, the people who have built our education system, and the people who educate our children. The future of every civilization around the world is built upon its thinkers, its intellectuals, its academics, and educational administrators. And a society can only become great when it's powered by the power of the idea behind the human thought to express itself, to reach out beyond what is today. Because these people push the frontiers of knowledge, they push the frontiers of freedom and create conducive atmosphere for the future generations to imbibe in themselves the values and the thinking that are very essential. At the end of the day, what remains in every society is an idea of what the society should be based upon freedom, freedom of expression, freedom of thought, and the creation of knowledge. The quest for creation of knowledge, the quest to advance society determines the future of educational institutions. And it's up to us as members of this society to recognize these pioneers, to thank them on this day, and to tell them how honored we are that they have chosen to accept this recognition from us. Now we are honored here in this committee, in the jury, and in FICCI, that we are such extraordinary people who have thought it fit to come here and to accept what we can only bestow on them in recognition of what they are, because they have made what is possible today. And today, we want to thank all of them for coming here. We want to thank all of you. We want to thank the jury members, the Higher Education Committee. We want to thank all the academics of India for their extraordinary hard work in making our future secure, in making the future of our children secure, and making sure that our civilizational ethos, the values on which we have been built, is carried forward in an atmosphere which nurtures knowledge, which nurtures the freedom of the human soul, because it is this freedom that all of us strive to achieve and which our founding fathers encapsulated in our constitution. And these are the people who keep it alive. I want to thank the knowledge partners. I want to thank E&Y, Shobha and the team and everybody on this extraordinary day, and to say it's a great joy that you are chosen today to come here with your presence and accept it. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, sir, and we leave you with his thoughts and ideas which he expressed. Ladies and gentlemen, we are sure with the efforts of all of you, India is definitely going to be awakening and having a tryst